God damn, I'm unfit. Got this stupid jacket on. Oh. Why a lot of you join in the stream is to hear me getting ready in the background, prepping myself. Oh. Oh. Celebrate independence, right. Let's plow into this. Turn this off. Get that out of Discord. Steam. Get Twitter on the go. People like, bam. Oh, BoredGamer's on Twitter. He's tweeting. Live. BoredGamer. Boom. Perfect. Down a bit. Let's turn on my face. Be like, oh my god. Such a beautiful boy. Hey, I'm BoredGamer. You may remember me from streams and Star Citizen stuff. I want to go straight into looking at some things very quickly, at least. I just saw this pop up on my feed. Is Celebrate Independence, which I'll link here. I don't actually really know what this is. Together in Unity, Imperator. Is it Imperator or is it Imperator? Who knows? I don't know. I can't words. Well, this particular day commemorates the forming of a unified planetary government when nations of Earth came together as humanity expanded into the stars with the common goal of forging a brighter future for generations to come. Over the years, the holiday and the UEE itself have changed, but the tenets of the day and the values of our collective remain the same. We are stronger together. Together we struck down tyrannical regimes, made peace and allied with alien races and forged a legacy of harmony and commitment to a better tomorrow. Together we celebrate our great accomplishments from the past and even greater potential of the future. Together we solidify our independence through acceptance, inclusion, and mutual understanding. I am unable to words today. I apologize. Our distant ancestors in the United States and France celebrated their own great moments of unity, perseverance, and independence in July. Join us in honouring those traditions with this Imperator's Day for the weekend. So, celebrate the unification of humanity and say au revoir to tyrannical regimes by throwing your own parade in the verse. Gather and assemble on foot, in ships or other vehicles, and salute to a bright future. You have until the 14th of July to submit photos. So there's a little competition-y type thing going on. And then there's lots of ship packs available. Sow harmony and unity throughout the verse, and rise up against the UE's oppressors and specially created ships, with specially created ships and packages, only available through July 15th. Harness the spirit of independence by adding these red, white, and blue vessels to your fleet. Okay. Colorless blue. Some other things going on. Got the Constellation Phoenix. Yeah. Some stuff available for sale. I suspect a lot of people will want to grab the Mercury Star Runner again because they seem to be pretty popular. Nothing huge there. Just a little sale. Meh. Meh. Cares really, eh? How is everyone doing? Let's have a look. See messages. Hello, BoredGamer. What news? Well, we're just chatting general. And we've got the 3.6.0 PTU patch, which is a step towards them getting open PTU on the go. It's got some less problems, I suppose, than the previous N patch did, but there's still performance issues. There's still wing wobble. There's still a load of problems with hover and a load of other blockers, especially with performance. So they got a big list together, and if they can get sort of like the performance issues solved, I'd say that we probably get open PTU for this weekend, because they'll want to stress test the rest of the stuff before finishing off the rest of the blockers list. Anyone here having problems with the hover mode and landing? Yes, it's not working properly. So you can use power throttle for your thrusters, both right, alt, and mouse wheel. And you can also just use the mouse wheel for the... So you've got acceleration throttle with the right, alt, and mouse wheel. And just mouse wheel normally will give you your velocity throttle. So if you use that with your landing gear properly and control, you can land. But you sort of have to land quite quickly. Otherwise, your ship will just start to drift randomly or go forward or backwards or whatever. You have to take your moment and then fucking land, which is not great. It's harder in larger ships, it seems. But I was doing loads of harvesting earlier today, mining with the Prospector, so I've got I'm much better at it. But it's not ideal because it's a little bit, you know, not as intended. In a billion different ways, not as intended. Yeah. If you'd like to ask a question in brackets helps me pick it up. Unfit but fit. Sexy bald bearded men. Boom. Thanks, Panda. Appreciate it. I'd like to hear. Mate, I would happily have a bunker full of stuff for a nuclear apocalypse. I think that'd be a cool thing. Prep for that. Yeah, why not? Have like a little land bunker. Invite people down to it for like little private lands, and maybe even use it as an office. Happy to have a bunker. That sounds cool. Is 3.6 a good patch? It's a necessary patch. Don't know really if it's a good patch until it's on the live build. It's got lots of good features. It should be better than 3.5. But we don't know for sure until it's in our hands properly, not just in the PTU, because the live patches, the PTU could be perfect and amazing eventually before it goes live. And then something in the live breaks something, and we'd have terrible AI and broken servers again. But I don't just float around. That is a lie. As an unsubstantiated rumor. BoredGamer abroad? No. Why would I hate traveling. Uniform. Don't hurt yourself. Thank you. I will try not to hurt myself. Nice jacket. Very adamant. I know, right? Hey Bored, what are your specs you're running on your PC? Upgraded to the new RTX? No, my current donation goal is to buy a 2080 Ti. I'm going to wait until the couple of weeks when the 2080 Supers are out, because I suspect the 2080 Ti's will drop in price a bit, and then I'll grab one of those. The main reason I want one is because it's much better for 4K, and I mean, I'm happy to get super high quality 1440p footage, but 4K would be better. I've got a 4K monitor and everything ready for it. But the NVEC sort of like video capture stuff on the 20 series is fucking amazing. You get much better results with less impact on your frame rates. So Kenyon Flack, yeah, I missed so many of your videos lately, I'm not sure if I can go back and watch them all. We don't watch them all, just watch the ones that are relevant to you. Watch the news weekly updates and roundups. There's no physical requirements to watch all of my videos. There's some I might try and signpost people to if they think it's relevant to another video that I've done. There's a little tiny update in the Crytek v CIG Star Citizen case at the moment. Nothing major at all. In fact, it's the most minor thing. Some of the is it Arise that the Crytek's new lawyers have requested to be able to be appear as pro hack vice or whatever, so they can appear in the case. They can represent the company, I believe. So that's new from the 11th from yesterday, but nothing major with that at the moment. We were shown cap ships battle a year ago. When do you expect capital ships in game? After, well, we get the 890 jump. That's a capital ship. That will be in 3.6.x. So sometimes over the next couple of months, I would expect. I'm sort of now expecting a capital ship battle potentially at CitizenCon, but I wouldn't expect to see the capital ships like the Idris and the Javelin until after Squadron 42 Episode 1 is released. So maybe, we're very lucky, at the end of next year. Will we be able to have outposts and own land, such as underground and in a cave system? I'm not sure if you're able to place outposts in a cave system, but your land claims should also cover anything that's directly under you as well. So try and get a cave system. Make sure you've got the entrance as well, would be my suggestion. Are you wearing pants? Yes. I'm not sure if I'm wearing underwear, though. Haven't checked. When can we buy exclusive BoredGamer bathwater? We'll do it soon. Don't you worry. I mean, I'll sell out for anything. I'll happily shill for my own bathwater. You can probably get some head shavings. Or do head shavings. Perfect. Or BoredGamer's greasy head balm. Something like that. That sounds delightful, doesn't it? $30 a pop. Do you think the release of Squadron 43, alpha in 2020 is real? Squadron 42 Episode 1, and the current plan is to have a feature-complete beta by Q2 2020. That's very possible to be delayed by a quarter or two, admittedly, but at the moment, that's the current plan. Do you think the Terrapin is overpriced? I'm into exploration, and I think the Terrapin is a perfect ship for it, but at the price of a Constellation, ? Yes, I think it's vastly overpriced. I think it's certainly one to get in game. Did you see the new packs? Yes, I literally talked about them a few moments ago. GOG should put you in a Squadron 42 as a cameo. A cameo as what? Idiot, like walking around repairing something. Perfect. Or as a radio, a dude on the radio. Where's the F in SCL? Well, sorry, what's standing for what? What's going on? You know, people got sick and hospitalised for drinking her bathwater. No, they fucking didn't. There's no way people were drinking her dirty bathwater as well as buying it. Oh, man. What have you had any news on the Star Citizen webcam that was announced last year? Yes, so I keep on occasionally poke Faceware, and they're still working on it. I suspect we'll see the Faceware's facecam for CitizenCon again, probably with pre-orders at the same time. That sort of makes sense to me. We were supposed to have it in January, I think, the pre-orders for it, but obviously that didn't happen. It's been a while. As far as I'm aware, they're still working on it, and it's going to be the best possible experience for FOIP. The Star Citizen Live is on at 6 PM UTC, which is in just over an hour. I mean, Cameo is just as a potato, just floating around. Or on someone's plate in that mess hall. My little face in it. Perfect. I'll only buy the bathwater if I get head shavings with it. and you need to bin in that jacket. Let's get hosed down in the jacket. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Please tell me your PC setup and the FPS you're currently getting. Do you want to know what I'm getting in 3.6.0, the latest PTU patch, or do you want to know what I'm getting in 3.5.1? Because my 3.5.1 sort of like frame rates are pretty fucking high, 90 plus most of the time. I only get going lower when I'm in sort of like around Lawville, or ArcCorp, around the actual spaceports. I've got a 1080 Ti, an 8700K, and 64 gigs of RAM. The RAM is almost entirely for sort of video stuff that I do. But yeah, run it on an SSD. What is your expectation on Squadron 42? In what sense? I hope it's going to be a genuinely amazing game in the style of Half-Life 2 amazing. For me, that's sort of like a litmus test for a great game. It either proves or disproves the fact that CIG can build a game and has the vision to do that. It's their first full released product. Super important for them to get it right. I think they can very likely get it right, but it's going to be an interesting one. Because I suspect that people would decry it as a failure even if it was one of the best games ever. Some people will say it's the best game ever even if it's not the best game ever. An interesting one. Star Citizen is very polarizing. They're lots of different communities, and like the very pro Star Citizen community gets annoyed at people when they don't do enough research, or aren't sort of like just look at it and go, I'll just do research by looking at a Forbes article, and that's the truth. And it's like, oh god. When should we see the Harbinger in game? Will it be a loaner for Redeemer owners? I don't know what the Redeemer gets, because they sort of phased the Redeemer out briefly. It's going to be a gunship, the Redeemer, now. That's interesting. I don't know. Harbinger seems reasonable. The Harbinger's currently planned for 3.7, I believe. I'm not sure I slowly went up in volume, but I did. Ships and vehicles. Vanguard, Harbinger, 3.7. So it looks like by the end of September. We're assuming that 3.7 is now going to be the end of September. Typically, the third patch of the year is sort of like they wanted to have it come online at the same time as CitizenCon, but they pushed CitizenCon back 6 weeks or more. So it makes sense then that to meet quarter 3, 3.7 would be released at the end of September. You heard anything regarding the Auroras VTOL fans? Yeah, so they're supposed to be very much their own thing, and they were working on them, but I'm not sure if they're going to make 3.6. You think they will make a stealthy heavy bomber? Yeah, I think they'll have a heavy bomber, potentially in a slightly similar vein to the Pips. That said, maybe there's just ways of making the Retaliator more stealthy. If one of the first repair implementations is drones, how many years will we have to wait for any new Crucible news? We could see Crucible stuff being worked on for next year. I mean, it would be a mixture of drone repair and hand repair, and sort of like changing in and out of subcomponents and components. Very much a thing. Let's see the Crucible in a reasonable amount of time. I suspect significantly before the Endeavour, anyway. Thank you very much, Huntress. Oh, nice jacket. Thank you very much. I love you, Huntress. You're the fucking best. And Dallin Outward? I finally caught you live to tell you how beautiful you are. Thanks. Appreciate it. DDR4 is cheap at the moment. Yes. Because, well, I think you've been sort of like desensitized by the terribly expensive prices were 18 months ago or so. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 2080 Ti just because of the potential quality of B-roll that it gives me. What do you think of security and interdiction in 3.6? I like it, but it happens a little too often. It happens very too often. They fixed the sort of like Popo always being red on the HUD in the latest patch, but you get interdicted sometimes twice during like a journey by the police who want to scan you. If you're on a really heavy ship, you keep on floating, you go past where they want you to stop because you're going too fast. You can't stop in time. So they give you a criminal rating and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff they need to dial in with that. I'm okay maybe being interdicted once every like few trips when I'm in an area where it's reasonable for security to be. But not all the time. Come on, that's harassment. BoredGamer came out in Squadron 42 as an extra that somehow managed to survive several battles when many troops did not. Just a way we can keep seeing your lovely face in the background of a few scenes. Maybe on a poster. Funny how massively OP and other game sites stop referring to Star Citizen as vaporware, at least. Having to eat their own words to a certain extent. Yeah, but as far as I'm aware, Simon, the next sort of phase of that is to declare that Star Citizen is a failed Kickstarter, and it is the provided the least possible content that it possibly could have, and it's soaking up money, and it's worse than Shenmue 3, things like that. That's the next sort of like stage that the outrage mob will go for, in my opinion. Tentacle Eye missing in action. What? I mean, it's relatively new on the concept board, so wait until they've fleshed out the Xi'an a bit more, and you'll probably then see it. Christian, from watching a video from Kamurul, I can't say anyone's name. What do you think about it taking 4 size 9 torpedoes to kill a hammerhead now instead of 12 size 9 torpedoes? Seems a little too extreme. No, I think I would like torpedoes to be slightly less effective against shields than they currently are. So 12 size 9 torpedoes was far too much. And the not being able to kill a Starfarer previously, because there was a bug with the shields, with torpedoes, that was a little too much. Yeah, 4 to 5 size 9 torpedoes to kill a hammerhead. If you're all shooting the same face, maybe is quite reasonable, because the hammerhead's going to be moving, the hammerhead's going to be able to shoot down some of these torpedoes and outrun some, probably. It's going to be hitting different faces, so it's not going to be doing huge amounts of damage. And, for example, the Eclipse is going to be able to only fire one of those at a time. It's in the static tests, it's not particularly, not particularly fair in a lot of situations. So sort of like bear that in mind. But I would like to see shields more effective at shielding you from torps and missiles. You find it difficult playing on keyboard? I think it's the easiest to play on. I remember a few years ago I could dogfight, but I recently find it difficult to take off and do basics. Has it changed a lot? Have I lost IQ? The hover mode and stuff like that, there's loads of additions. There's a new flight model, so it's just you needing to get used to it again. Saw the new sale they got this weekend? Yes, so it's the Independence Day sale, effectively. Just a few red, white, and blue ships available again. Interesting ship packages. I mean, almost all this stuff I'd want to get in game. I might pick up a Cutlass Blue if I haven't already got one. So I do want one. Mercury Star Runner's a really cool ship, but I've already got one. Constellation Phoenix, meh. I got an 890 jump. See you later, suckers. Little excuse for a sale. Do potatoes mash themselves out of excitement upon seeing you? No. Did you think I somehow arouse potatoes? That's such a backhanded compliment. I think they should be much slower moving so fighters can easily escape them. I'm not sure if they should be much slower. I think that you should be able to potentially escape them, or them lose tracking, or I mean, they should still be able to travel at a reasonable rate. I think like countermeasures might be super effective against them, stuff like that. Oh yeah, my new video should have gone up at some point. Now maybe might have just gone up. Do you think they'll ever implement point defense systems? Well, so the AI blade system, so you can based on the computer slots on your ship and the sort of like turret modularity, you can, for some ships, put in, for example, like a hammerhead, modules into some of the turrets so that they are run by an AI system. Effectively, that was what the point defense systems have now become on ships, and they're about to do derpy things like, yeah, shoot down all fighters that come within a certain range, or missiles, or torpedoes, or try to, at least. Will we get open PTU 3.6.0 for the weekend? I'm hoping so. If they get the blockers, if they get the performance blocker for 3.6 current PTU sorted, I suspect they will want to roll it out for stress testing. So almost certainly if they get that solved. Bored, why were some of the trains removed at Lawville? Because PTU, and they are trying different things out and seeing if certain things cause degradation and crashes or whatever. I haven't logged in a while, but keep the game updated. Is there a flight tutorial I could play? There's no flight tutorial in game at the moment, which is a real ball ache, unfortunately, because there used to be, and it was good. But there's videos on like my channel and stuff like that that will go through the new flight model with you. There's also just general 3.5 tutorial that I've got up on my channel, which should give you everything you need to know about the new flight model to at least get you all playing with your hitting the ground running. Is that the fucking term? I don't know. I've lost the ability to speak properly. I want to talk about a few little things. So let's see what we got here. So if people are trying to get into the PTU, it is Wave 2 at the moment. I do expect it to go to Open PTU over the weekend. I'm hoping at least. You do need to download the new launcher if you do get into the PTU. And you need to copy your account across, but all the details can be found there. The new downloader for the launcher, that sort of stuff. Bear that in mind. In just under an hour, we've got the Star Citizen Live. I think it's VFX today, so that should be quite cool. We'll stop just before then. See if we're gonna jump in. Oh no! Apparently it's audio team. 1 second. Let me find out. 6 PM UTC, which is in an hour. Making sound effects. Okay, it's not VFX at all. I think I just saw the FX making sound effects. Anything else interesting? No. Thursday, we won't see an Inside Citizen. We're on a week 2 of the 3-week hiatus, so we won't see it next week either. We will see it the week after. Okay, so it's only 3 weeks, not a whole month. Got the RSI newsletter later and a roadmap update, which is cool. What else have we got? Some subscriber flair. So I'm expecting next month's subscriber flair to be new and cool. And so this month's, I think you get a whole suit of clothes, which is a little odd, I suppose, because they were just giving out single items before. But I suppose they're trying to get people to subscribe more. And we've got some cool subscriber flair and items coming in the future, we know, with like the holographic skull, blah, 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 and the Centurion helmet and cool little looking things like that. But there's full suits. All cool. I think I'm massively into either of these. Like the facial expressions from the people modelling them. JR Fabrication have put their Arrow model on pre-release or pre-sale. So you can buy it. They're incredibly expensive at £110, but they are officially licensed Star Citizen kits, and they're very cool. They sort of like mirror the look of the stuff in game as well. JR Fabrications make like computer things as well, so you can buy a fridge or a computer case or a storage box, some officially licensed sort of MicroTech tables and furniture, which is all pretty slick and pretty cool. It's quite expensive though, so sort of bear that in mind. These are very much collector's items. They also got a grey cats as well. I'm going to grab a couple of these myself. Because I am a bit of a model collector. An approved Star Citizen vendor. What else have we got? What happened on the weekend? Anything exciting? Not really. Go patch. Went a bit of a way to fix some of the performance issues. Trying to get some of that sorted. There's a big list of known issues now, as well as like party systems not working properly and that sort of stuff. So bear that in mind. They do collect big lists of these sort of like known issues. I'm fixing the ones that would prevent testing, but then they fix huge amounts of them before the live build typically. Listen, like we've got all the features we want in, we've got all the sort of optimizations we want in, now we've fixed the bugs, blah, 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 now it's live. That's typically the sort of process they go through. Oh! Let's talk about this. So, if you missed a CitizenCon ticket, Wave 2 Star Citizen CitizenCon tickets for the 23rd of November are going to be available again next week. So on Wednesday, you have another chance to buy some tickets, and they're in 2 lots of 175. Slightly larger lots than last time. Should give you a few more seconds if you're trying to buy. So 6 p.m. UTC and 10 p.m. UTC on July the 7th, that is Wednesday, for all backers, not just concierge or subscribers or anything. So that's another 350 tickets. If you want to try and grab yourself a CitizenCon ticket, I suspect that'll be probably the last chance to get a ticket, unless you're able to buy the ones that people don't go through the checkout with or whatever. Do you see what I mean? Also, they're going with digital goodie packs next week as well. So hopefully there'll be no digital forced tickets if you want to watch CitizenCon like they tried last year. I don't think Star Citizen is at BlizzCon levels to be able to do that yet. Have some released products and that sort of stuff, and start making sort of like their own money, as it were, by selling products rather than all be based on pledges before you start charging your backers money. But the digital good packs I'm kind of quite happy with, as long as they're cooler things. I've got like 10 of them for giveaways still that I'm holding on to for the older ones. Yeah, so some cool stuff happening next week with that. And the monthly report, version 42 update. Basically what I wanted to talk about with that. Cool. Chat a little bit. What else have we got? Google Star Citizen tutorials. That's probably the best thing to do. I think they did actually do a series of Star Citizen tutorials, didn't they? Full sort of tutorial videos that came out for 3.5 for the 3.5 flight model. Perfect. Check out Star Citizen ones as well, the actual official ones. They probably got some good bits in, you know, because they made the game. What do you think about having the hardest hacks require you to write a basic C# script to actually hack, or sell those scripts to players that can't code? No. I like the idea for modded servers and private servers and stuff like that. Have some really cool, super intricate things going on. However, when it comes to that sort of like, I want simple mechanics that people can get into. I would like pipe puzzles or silly little mini games that people can do when it comes to hacking. Sort of like re-diverting power, or silly little mini games that you get for just sort of like, preventing hack or fighting a hack, whatever. Just to keep me busy, just to be a little interesting thing. I think we will see the Star Runner next year. Yeah, towards the end of next year, I think we'll see the Star Runner. Maybe potentially a little bit before that. I think we'll potentially see work on the Star Runner later this year. Do you think it's possible to create a local game session with friends and play against AI? Potentially in the future, you'll have to have private servers. That's a long way off. Obviously, you can play Star Marine and Arena Commander with a local group of friends, effectively. Or you can just, you know, all join a server together. I mean, there's going to be other players there, but join with a big org or something. They can take over all the spots together to probably do like a PvE experience for people. Thank you very much, the Warden. The Warden. Robert Johnston, can you sing? Goody two, goody two shoes. What? Why? Why do you want goody two? What's wrong with you? I love you, Robert Johnston, though. He is my fashion advisor. I'm not good with music. I don't know. Is that Adam Mance? Is that some person that did some music once? Once the Hull C gets released at the end of the year, do you think the Bounty Merchantman will get the Hull C as a loaner instead of the Starfarer? Very possibly, yes. That seems reasonable. Christian, yay? Yay. Where can I submit to you some feedback on your videos? You can email me. You can put it as a comment on the video. You can contact me on Discord. Literally feedback at boardgamer.co.uk. Boardgamer.co.uk/enlist will get you a referral code if you wish to use mine or one of my patrons. It just automatically puts it in for you. There's a referral Reddit randomizer thing, also commonly used. Putting those kits for the Arrow to sell means they won't change that ship in the future. You consider that a risk? Question mark. No, so the new pipeline ships, they shouldn't change, or they've got very, very, very low risk of changing. They might get really tiny modeling updates or materials updates and stuff like that, bringing the ship, or lighting updates like that on balance, but they shouldn't receive reworks. The new pipeline's very, very good for that. I mean, the Arrow and stuff like that, straight to flyable. That's probably because it's going to be in Squadron 42. Use Manacle Minds. PM each other or whatever. Pretty chill. Came a bit late. I've never heard that. Wait. When do you think OpenPTU arrives? I think it's very possible to have it this weekend. So there's a load of bugs with the PTU currently, but as long as they get the performance one relatively well fixed, I think they'll want to open up the PTU for stress testing. Typically, they get a big list of bugs ready to be sort of like then quashed and slashed. Will they be making models of the Polaris and the Carrack? I would expect so. I think they'd go through a load of popular ships in order, whatever's sensible, and they'll probably approach it from a very capitalist standpoint of brainstorming what they think is the most sensible ship to go next. Make more money or to help continue the line. I know it takes quite long for them to get a license and that sort of stuff. Door puzzles from Bard's Tale 4 are fun and have a fair amount of difficulty. Something like that for hacks. Just, yeah, some sort of mini games with a bit of a learning curve behind them so people can get into them. I've just given CIG even more money. Will I ever learn? Bad! Naughty Rogue. Or Rouge. Rogue Stimulant. Rouge Stimulant. Why not? Hi, Board. The Bounty Man here. What? The Bounty Man here is a question. I'm so confused. You think we'll get bounty hunting within cities like ArcCorp and Lawville? Yes, I do. I think there's going to be a bounty hunters guild. I also think that some people will probably be allowed to be carrying guns in certain cities if they're part of certain guilds or have a certain reputation with the area. I think, yeah. We'll certainly be bounty hunting around the sort of like lawful cities. People like walking around scanning you and things. Inspired me to get back into the game. Love you lots. Like Jelly Tots. Cheers. Thanks very much, the Rua MVP. But I would say that Star Citizen is not really a sit down and play game yet. It's great fun if you're in an org or you've got a group of friends to play with, because there's lots of cool stuff you can do and it's a great mess around and a great sandbox. But there's nothing beyond that at the moment, beyond that sandbox and that fun there. There's no proper progression. So sort of bear that in mind. There will be proper progression in the not too distant future, but that's not yet. And there's lots of problems. It's an alpha. So, you know, it's all about feedback and helping develop the game. What do you think of quantum travel times? Do you think smaller ships should be faster and bigger ships slower? No. I think bigger ships should be faster at quantum. That makes a lot of sense to me. That's why you want to use carrier ships. That's why you want the smaller ships to be going and traveling around with an Idris or whatever, because they're docked with it, and they can all fly huge distances and then get around and defend it. They just plan to do Sol, Galaxy, and Perfect Earth. No, so the galaxies that they are using are their own made-up ones to an extent. So they're not realistic galaxies. The Sol star system, we're not sure if it's going to be an accurate Sol star system. Earth, obviously, they're going to take some liberties with, almost certainly, because, you know, it's in the future. What's the deal with head tracking in 3.6? Well, they're trying to get a reasonably good native head tracking in Star Citizen. How does it compare to the Track IR? Wait until 3.6 live before I can answer that, because there's problems with it still, but it looks like it might be pretty fucking good. Adam and the Ants, thank you very much, Robert Johnston, for the donation, just to tell me what song I was apparently singing. Cutlass Blue could be ready for 3.6 live. Well, it's not on the roadmap. I doubt it. Well, it's not on the roadmap for then. It's 3. Is it 3.7 or 3.8 with Cutlass Blue? Cutlass Red is 3.7. Cutlass Blue is 3.8. The reworks anyway. We get an update to the dual joystick video setup, please. I can ask Nubafar or Twerk to do one. Actually, the problem is that I could do it and research it, but I still wouldn't be as qualified to talk about it as other people. I did that very early on, my very sort of like derpy one. I think it's $20 Patreons I chuck into my randomizer as a sort of like an additional bonus. There's no sort of hard rule on that. But yeah, I think I'm doing it with the $20 backers, I think, at the moment. So is a 3.6 live build a way off yet? I mean, if everything went magically, the earliest it would be next week, end of next week. More likely by the 26th. Before the end of the month, I would expect. The 3900X AMD new processors are amazing, apparently. Like, they're really great, especially for, you know, streaming and video processing and lots of the workhorse stuff. And they're pretty damn good for gaming. As more games get more multi-threaded, they'll scale for that. So hopefully Star Citizen, when it's very, very, very multi-threaded, will make use of billions of cores. Do you think the game will need to be stable with object container streaming at the release of Squadron 42? Squadron 42 will need to be, yes. And server-side object container streaming is needed for Squadron 42. Do you think it will be possible for player orgs to seize control of inhabited planets by force? Yes. Well, not like ArcCorp and... Probably not in UEE territory. But ones that are not in UEE territory, you certainly could say that at least you control a planet. and that sort of stuff. Depends on how they do the automated defenses and security. It's very possible that in sort of like more piratey areas, you potentially could effectively take a station over for a while. But it depends on actually how they do that. They might have invincible turrets and ever respawning security, in which case you couldn't. Windows key and G is not bringing up my screenshot cat menu. How can I fix this? Search for it on Google. I had a problem with my Windows key not being detected, and I had to press function F12 to fix that. F12? No, I think it's function FN Windows key, actually. That's why I had to press to make that work again. What's the favourite thing about 3.6 for you right now? I don't really know at the moment. It needs to all come together. At the moment, it's just sort of like almost got a working law system and black market, but not quite. They're doing stuff with the economy at the moment. There's a load of pieces coming together. It's potential. It's got a load of stuff that needs bug fixes and to be ironed out and dialed in at the moment. So I sort of like I'm holding my tongue and waiting for it to be in a bit of a better place. NPC Cruise, what's the timeline, mate? There is no mention of it on the roadmap currently. I'm expecting that they need to get all the AI done and working for Squadron 42 first. So middle of next year is when they sort of like have the base of that AI done. Then they might need to migrate it all to multiplayer stuff. And then they need to have the simulation stuff done for it and have servers in a better place. So it's a while off. I mean, end of next year, you might see AI modules for turrets. These a while after that. Do you think the Cutlass Blue will be ready to fly at 3.6 live? Nope. 3.8 for Cutlass Blue. Cutlass Red and 3.7 is the current plan. What are you looking forward to most at CitizenCon 2019? Hopefully a Squadron 42 release date. The general sort of like main stage presentation they do is always amazing though. So that'll be some probably 3.8 and 3.9's gameplay. Probably see MicroTech and Orison, stuff like that. I'm hoping we see the Carrack, and maybe we see jump points, and maybe we see another star system, maybe we see capital ship battles, and maybe we see aliens. There's a huge amount that we could see. We'll certainly see some new straight to flyable or rideable vehicles. I mean, people are thinking the Mantis and the Blister that was mentioned. The RSI Mantis potentially being a heavy fighter. There's loads of stuff that says but I'm actually going to be there, so good socialization for me as well. What do you think the next concept will be? It's a month overdue, so maybe straight to flyable. Potentially, there could be a straight to flyable ship or vehicle with 3.6. There's lots of promotions planned apparently with 3.6. Also, it's potentially possible that the Vanguards could have the new ship customization system, so you might be able to buy upgrades and stuff to them. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston. Donation to the mighty jacket. More mighty than the chair. I need to get a chair remote and you want updated. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston. You are a bit of a legend. You donate far too much money to me, and I do appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm expecting if we don't have a new straight flyable or rideable ship or vehicle with 3.6, then I would expect to see a concept sale this month. And it could be a lot of different things. Mine, a medium salvager, loads of different ground vehicles. You expect a small amount of animals on planets, so we have to fight and defend ourselves. Which animals do you expect first? Well, they've got the Oni crabs, the little rats that's supposed to be around Hurston. I mean, really, creatures could only be on Hurston and Stanton, so probably those first. We'll probably see like insects and things like that as well, so like, even if they're just simulated with the VFX or whatever. Might see some animals in cages, like a zoo or something. MicroTech. Probably animal testing or some bullshit like that, though. I suspect we could see some stuff like that at CitizenCon. How long is Chapter 1 of Squadron 42 estimated to be? Lots of things have been said. The current estimation, I believe to be accurate, is 30 to 40 hours of gameplay. Hoping that to play it a few... I'd like to get 70 hours of gameplay out of it. So, like, play it a couple of times through in different ways, sort of stuff. What PU are you streamers playing to have a million AVUEC? Yeah, so you get like 5 million AVUEC given to you in a PTU build. So the test builds for 3.6 at the moment give you a huge amount of money to test with. Doesn't transfer over to the live one, but once you have access to the PTU, if you want to, which you might already have access to, go to your account settings and see if you've got a PTU Public Test Universe in yellow. Click on that, bam, you can get in. Here's the details of all the stuff that you need to do to get into the PTU. So you might have 2 at the moment, and it should go to Open PTU soon. I'm hoping for this weekend, but that is quite hopeful. Expect to see the roadmap updated for the patch after 3.9, which I do expect to be called 4.0, a couple of weeks after 3.6 goes live. So probably the end of this month. Just after. This will be confusing and future question of the game. Say I spawn a Kraken and a Banu Merchman and park them somewhere together in space. Then log out in my bed and relog on. Will both ships still be there? Potentially. They may have been destroyed. They may have been moved. We're not entirely sure if there's going to be safe places to log them out, or if you can just all log out in beds and they disappear. They're still working out exactly how that's going to work. Would there be issues in streaming some of the 19 unofficial soundtracks instead of Pedro all the time? Love Pedro's work. It's just some of the unofficial stuff is great. Yeah, I can ask the people that make it to make sure it's okay for me to use it. If I can an email saying, you are more than welcome to use my work for any commercial or content or otherwise, whatever. For streams and for making videos specifically, and then proving that they have the rights to them or they made them. Great. I will happily use their stuff. Any idea when we'll get the goodies from last year's CitizenCon? We've got the jacket, but not the knife. Well, that's a good point, actually. The knife hasn't come up yet. Probably when we have Melee in. They'll probably have it just ready for then. With the leaker stating that the RSI Mantis has internal space, it is most likely a long-range fighter, like the Vanguard or the Defender. Thoughts? Yeah, I think it's most certainly going to be a heavy fighter, if that is the case. That makes sense. And heavy fighters are typically, to make a fighter heavy, it can be long range, it can have a huge amount of weaponry and armory, or whatever. If I upgrade my actual CPU, my i5 8600K to a 9900K, will I run Star Citizen more easily? Well, yes, but I'm not sure if it's worth it still. I mean, it's more easily, but how much more easily? How much better is the performance going to be? That's a hell of a processor, the 9900K, so yeah, you should get better performance. It should struggle less in a lot of things, but you might have a bottleneck with, if you've only got 8 gigs of RAM, or if you've got a trashy graphics card or whatever. Is the lamp dead? The lamp's sort of like a dying Star Citizen meme. What's MicroTech supposed to look like? So the planet itself is largely, or at least has lots of sort of like polar regions, very frosty, very icy, lots of water and sea there as well, but also it's got like Nordic forests, sort of like quite cold biomes, but there's still greenery and trees and that sort of stuff around there as well. The actual MicroTech itself, as a sort of like city, New Babbage is what it's called, is domed, high tech. There's sort of like compartmentalized. No, that's not the right word. Like travel systems and tube travel systems between these like large domes. It's very clean inside. It's very medical, very sort of like high-tech science. Lots of companies competing with each other. So very researchy, high-tech research labs sort of thing. Very clean, greenery inside. They've got lots of sort of like genetically enhanced vegetation. I think we should have an open PTU board. Is the criticism of the new patch worth it for new player exposure? Oh yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't care if Star Citizen gets criticized. It's people's opinions and whatever. They're more than welcome to have them. That's fine. Criticize Star Citizen all day long. But when it comes to open PTUs and stuff, I mean, it's... Once it's ready for open PTU, which is, in my opinion, as soon as they want deeper stress testing of features and servers and more eyes on things, they should do it. They should go on and do it. It doesn't matter about the criticism. Star Citizen will, at some point, be much more mainstream and playable by the masses. Until it is, then that criticism is probably warranted, because it keeps the players out that don't want to give feedback and don't want to mess around and don't want to... the sort of players that want a sit-down and play game that's a lot more fleshed out at the moment. And that's fine. That's totally fine. Okay, I get it now. Squadron 42 needs server-side object container streaming. Yeah, because the server and the client's the same thing in a single-player game, effectively. Your PC is both server and client, especially in the way that server-side object container streaming works. It's core and foundational to the way that engine works. So likely to get that relatively soon. Yeah, I think potentially by the end of this year, because they want server-side object container streaming and full persistence for when they get new Babbage and MicroTech out. What about static and dynamic server meshing? Is that like 3 years off? We don't know exactly. I think there's potential to see static server meshing towards the end of next year. We'll have to wait and see. It's certainly a long-term thing, but it's core and they're working towards it. ABG, I love your face. If you have seen the Fallout and Skyrim lore series by Shoddycast, I have not, but I can look at them. Can you know the potential of associating yourself with introducing your own lore series? Do it. I've done some very basic compressed lore videos before. I might do the same. If there's lore that's useful in-game, I'm happy to do something like that. And I'm happy to do a quick sort of like 10-minute video of all the lore to bring you up to date with it for particular reasons. I just don't like to do whole videos covering just sections of lore. When do you think the first system-to-system jump point will be in-game? Next year. I think we need static server meshing first, but I think as soon as we have that, they'll almost certainly put another system in. I think we start to see the progress on that, potentially. That's just going to look how bright my head is with that light on it. Hey, Board, great service you provide to your fans. Well, thank you very much, George. Will they animate rotating blades on VTOL fans like on the Connie? Yes, I believe so. And the Aurora. Those fans are supposed to have a specific VTOL effect on those ships as well. So I very much would expect to see that potentially for 3.6 Live, in fact. Do you think the ships like the Prowler... Do you think with ships like the Prowler, they will implement Halo drop capabilities, parachutes, drop pods, etc.? So, Death Striker, they want to have the ability to survive in atmosphere when you eject, and potentially ways of getting to the ground from other ships. So, I would expect some way of ejecting or whatever, or jumping out of a ship and surviving in atmosphere. Yeah, that could be jetpacks, that could be drop pods, that could be parachutes. We don't know yet. The update on Cloud Tech, really looking forward to Crusader. Yeah, so, I meing, it looks like they're going to have Crusader's Cloud Tech, which is different from the Cloud Tech they're using for the coil and sort of like those spacey clouds. They're two different like cloud techs, as it were. Because the cloud tech they're using for the coil is sign distance field and all lots of stuff going on with it. And they're both different from weather clouds and dynamic weather. So expect to see potentially that in 3.9 because that's when they've got Crusader planned. Oh, red, white, and blue style, I know, right? Question, law, AI, robots not in game? Yeah, so they don't want... So in law, sort of like AI, proper robots and proper AI always fail when they try and get them to work. That's the idea. So they go, oh no, it doesn't work. It always breaks or something happens. So they're not in the game. You will have some sort of derpy AI that can run AI blades and automate turrets. But they're sort of like very basic point defense systems. But you will be able to hire NPC crews. So that's a long way out. So we're getting it this weekend. It's Saturday early morning here, my man. I expect that we could see Open PTU for this weekend, yes. But that's not confirmed. That's just my expectation. If they can get the performance issues sorted for the current PTU, I expect they will want to performance test it, as would expect to see. Not a confirmation of that. Could possibly go to Open PTU next week instead, so... If there's anything else I wanted to talk about. I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to is Squadron 42 stuff at CitizenCon. Like, I'd love to see an updated Admiral Bishop speech. I'd love to see Titan suits. I'd love to see Vandal running around in FPS hitting people. There's loads of cool stuff that we could potentially see. A new vertical slice for Star Citizen. Oh, good would that be? There's so many cool things for Squadron 42 stuff. Like, Squadron 42 is going to be the first fully sort of like fleshed out, packaged, polished experience that we get for Star Citizen. I think that's why it excites me so much. I'm not a massive fan of single player games, but and just getting this done allows so much more of the core tech and the core features for Star Citizen to be done, but also just the engine and getting it very pretty, very polished, much more sort of like much more mainstream, much more playable. And then there's so much more sort of like focus that can go into Persistent Universe and stuff like that. So that's very exciting. And I think that Star Citizen might get slammed just before CitizenCon and just after it, even if CitizenCon's perfect and amazing, and then like a release date and all that sort of stuff. I'm hoping we get a release date for Squadron 42. That's my expectation still. Hope I am proved right. Yeah, my latest video was posted a few minutes back. Indeed, it was. It just came up. Do you think the cutter, the Reclaimer sub, could potentially be a Titan suit? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you could have a utility Titan suit. I mean, the Titan suits are supposed to be for utility and fighting, so they're originally built for utility and lore, I think. I like the idea of that. How many blockers to go as of the last update? Just on a video, basically, about that. Bring up 3.6.0. So these are the known issues. They're not necessarily blockers. Hacking chips will fall through planets if you drop them. Entering no-fly zones in hover will get you stuck. That's pretty big. Significant first-person frame rate reduction can occur. So performance issues, basically. This is a major one. Textures will display across the visor on some helmets. Obviously, they can probably get that fixed pretty easily. Escort NPC ships fly in a circle and never reach their destination. I'd say that's quite a big blocker to me. Is it's sort of like a functioning mission set not working. Players have to accept and reset character customization at each game entry. It's annoying. Ship HUD does not properly update landing gear. The cargo lift elevator and the reclaimer moves in the wrong direction sometimes. AI ships have unintended wing wobble behavior. That is pretty big, and that is something that is a major blocker for me. NPC beacons are sometimes unable to find a safe spawning position and fail to generate. Again, it's probably something they want to get fixed. And global proximity chat sometimes doesn't work. First logging in. There's also problems with the economy that they're still trying to dial in. There's problems with the party system, getting the party system so that you can party launch together and actually get into parties properly and easily. That's major. ESP pips are working a lot better, but still not perfect. Dialing in the flight model, some major blocker in my opinion. Hover mode, major blocker. Lots of stuff going on there. The Titan suit will have something like jetpack capabilities or essentially be welded to the ground. I expect there's probably going to be a reasonable amount of customization for them. I suspect some of them will have EVA ability. That's what I'd expect. I wouldn't expect them to be entirely tied to the ground, but it's possible. What is this I'm looking at? This is about Squadron 42 vertical slides. And you're talking about why is a potato in an adamant jacket talking to you? Have you attempted to land the 600i at any of the R&R stations yet? No, not in 3.6, I haven't. Would you agree that having the gravity well extend to that outcrop pad before the doors would be useful? They need to have the pads probably have a larger gravity well for ships to let land in them. Otherwise, you're sort of like, you know... It's suspect it causes more problems with hover mode as well, being inside of multiple gravity physics grids. I sure hope that the Titan will have orbital drop capabilities. I suspect they will. Make them immune to fall damage. Because like you can drop vehicles out of ships. Makes sense that you'd be able to do that. Right. Any more questions? Because what I'm going to do in a minute then is go and get some food for myself before Star Citizen Live starts, because Star Citizen's Live starting in about 10 minutes or so. When will we get the character customization hex code so we can paste it in and reproduce our beautiful face every time they erase it? So expect some improvements in 3.6 with the current system, just like fractional, tiny quality of life ones. 3.7 should have the V2 of the character customizer. Potentially with that, they'll give you the hex code or some better ways of being able to save your face. Might be iterative though, so it might be a while out. Currently sitting in my hospital for my job, watching people sleep, and finished your last AMA. To my delight, I said that you're live. Thanks for everything you do to make my long night feel shorter. No worries, Archangel. Thank you very much for watching. Hey, Bod, how are you, dude? I'm alright. Really hungry. My parents are on holiday at the moment, which is good for them. So I'm making sure that everything's in order. Yeah, I've got to make sure my brother doesn't implode or something like that. And that all the cats are really well fed. Weird parents' worries. More suggestion than question. Would you approve of encouraging channels like your own to include a PSA links in the description? Read the many positions available at CIG. If the video is warranted, I mean, yeah, for some, I don't know. It's certainly good for certain things. If you mention that there's jobs available, or it's like you're talking about something that warrants you having that link there, then yes. Not just for no reason. If you want to be nice and stuff, you go. If you're interested, if you're interested in a job with CIG, they have open positions. So speaking of party, do you have any idea when they'll re-enable Grope Party launch? Yeah, so they need to re-enable it. I don't know why it was broken. It's important for me. That's a blocker for me. When can we next buy ships that are currently unavailable? Well, they've just put some ships available again that were that are limited. But on the 23rd of November, around then is the anniversary sale, the Expo, CitizenCon, all that sort of stuff happening at once. And I expect that pretty much everything that's previously been on sale will be at sale at some point over those 2 weeks. Celebrate Independence thing. Favorite tipple? I quite like cider. I think I like Old J, spiced rum, probably the most of anything I can think of. When you're coming over for dinner. Oh, what a creepy emoticon face. Rogue Simulant. I don't know. Are you a good cook? I'm very critical on food. Like I'm a little bit of a foodie. I used to be a head chef. Do enjoy my food. Thanks again for your time doing these live Q&As. You're the best, brother. Thank you very much for watching. I mean, it's chilled out, easy content for me to do. Andrew Brown, I'm sorry if I didn't thank you for your donation. Thank you very much. And Alchemy, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Didn't notice those. I apologise. I love your faces. I'm a little bit out of it, to be honest. Ugh. Pizza. Oh my god. Fucking best Italian pizza ever, mate. I think I like Asian food probably the most. I love sushi. I love hot Asian food as well. Katsu curry if I'm sort of like in a can't be asked to deal with a life mood. Love soy sauce, dark soy. Oh my god. Sushi. Thai. Oh, I fucking love Thai. Cool. Well, we will dash off then. We're going to go and host the official Star Citizen Twitch channel. You can watch the VFX. No, not VFX. Sound effects, guys. But also, I suspect there'll be some other questions answered by Disco Lando and that sort of stuff there. But I love you guys. Thank you very much for joining me. There wasn't a particularly long one today. I did do a stream yesterday, oddly. I do want to start playing 3.6, and I was going to play today. However, there are performance issues with the 3.6 patch, which I'm hoping they fix literally later today, and hopefully we'll have an open PTU and we get some more actual gameplay on the go for next week. But I love your faces, or your words. I love all your words, and thank you very much. What sort of ship is the Mercury Star Runner? It's sort of like a hybrid ship from a data runner to a cargo runner to sort of like a smuggler ship all in one. It's reasonably multi-role for that. And could be good for small crews and small groups of players to run as a multi sort of like role ship. Jeff, what's your recommendation for the 890 Jumps kitchen? I haven't actually looked at this kitchen yet. I haven't seen it. I'm hoping that because you're going to be able to have bartenders, but I'm hoping you also be able to have small scale kitchen crew. Yeah, it's a baby Millennium Falcon. That's a good way of putting it. Go have a look. Flash rate. Bam. Perfect. Right. I love you guys very much. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry it was only a short one today, but yeah. I will talk to you soon. Go check out the official Star Citizen Twitch if you would like to watch what's about to happen. And I love your faces very much. You take care, and I'll send you my bathwater later. Don't drink it though; it'll make you sick.